We're following multiple breaking news stories as we come on the air tonight. In just the last hour, Columbus police updating us on the search for 5-month-old Kason Thomas, who is still missing tonight. Police are now saying that they're focusing their search efforts here in Montgomery County. A BOLO alert was issued earlier today. It was sent to the 5 surrounding states of Michigan, Indiana, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. Investigators maintain that they are still searching those areas too. Now, the suspect is still 24-year-old Nala Jackson. She was last seen at a gas station in Huber Heights in this car. It's a 2010 black Honda Accord with tinted windows and a missing front bumper. Now, these are the most recent photos that we have of the vehicle. If we can take a look, it has a West Side City Toy sticker on the back. And again, it is missing the front bumper and has tinted windows. Now, we're going to get back to that story with all the updates in just a moment. But first, we want to jump over to our other top story of the night. As we speak, the Miami Valley is under a code red weather alert. We're expecting rain changing to snow tomorrow night and strong winds that could bring dangerously cold wind chills. As a forecasted bomb cyclone develops, winter weather alerts are in effect for more than 90 million people across the U.S. This is going to impact nearly every state and cripple Christmas travel. The National Weather Service calls this storm a life-threatening, once-in-a-generation event. So a live look now from our Kettering Health Skycam. It's quiet out there now, but do not be fooled because this storm is coming. So let's get right to Natalie. She's tracking the system as it approaches the Miami Valley. Natalie.
Yeah, dangerously cold air. That's going to be the biggest impact out of this system because we haven't seen anything like this in decades for us. It's been quite some time. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we're tracking. Sub-zero wind chills are in the forecast. Along with that, we're tracking wind gusts greater than 45 miles per hour. So of course that's going to be making it feel colder, but that also brings us the potential for some localized power outages. That could of course be a concern as we do have that bitterly cold air in place. So again, we want to take this very seriously. Measurable snow still in the forecast. Now, as of right now, those numbers, we're still not getting some very high totals, but it's not going to take a lot to bring significant impacts. So wind chill watch in place. This is until 4 a.m. on Saturday, goes into effect at 1 a.m. on Friday. Winter storm warnings north of I-70, winter storm watch south of I-70 for late tomorrow into the day on Friday. Tonight, though, fairly calm, dropping to 32.
Natalie, thanks. Tonight, the Ohio Department of Transportation is preparing for the winter weather ahead. Mamie Baugh is live outside their facility in Moraine. Mamie, what is their plan?
Well, Megan, as you just said, I am here in Moraine, and it's definitely the calm before the storm. Now, because of the rain, crews will be pre-treating the roads differently, so plow trucks will be on standby, strategically placed throughout the state, waiting to treat 43,000 lane miles. Once the rain stops, they will begin dumping salt and brine.
All of the trucks are currently loaded up. All of our men and women are getting a little rest, and they'll be ready to go when Mother Nature gives us the go sign.
Now, Mamie, I know that we've talked to ODOT before about some staffing challenges. Do they actually have the personnel to treat all the roads?
They tell me they do at this time. They are at full force, but they want people to understand that they will see some differences. So in that parts of in those parts of the state where they are dealing with staffing challenges, it might be a little bit slower before you do see a plow truck. Now, coming up at 10 and 11 tonight, their message to anyone that's going to be out on the roads, also some car tips so you don't end up stranded. Back to you.
Mamie, thanks so much. Now, for many, holiday plans will include hitting the skies this year. TSA expects holiday travel to be near pre-pandemic numbers over the next few days, a volume not seen since Thanksgiving 2019. But travel experts say now is the time to switch your plans due to this approaching storm. Many airlines now offering waivers to help travelers rebook ahead of time. United, American, and Southwest Airlines all have posted travel waivers for those flying to, from, or through many U.S. airports. These typically allow passengers to rebook without any change fees or fare increases. JetBlue, Alaska, and Spirit are also issuing waivers to change flights in certain airports on certain dates. You can find details on your airline's website. And stick around because coming up in just about 7 minutes, we're going to take a look at what to do if your gas-powered or electric vehicle stops working in the storm. And take a look at this QR code that's up on your screen right now. You can scan it to help download our Dayton 24/7 Now app. The free app will then send you breaking news and weather alerts so that you know what to expect with this upcoming storm. It's always free to download, and you can find it right now in any app store. And be sure to visit Dayton247now.com for updates as well for information on this incoming weather maker. An officer-involved shooting reported at a Sydney grocery store this morning. Police responded to several 911 calls about a man who actually entered the Sydney food town with a gun. We're told officers were on scene there within minutes and confronted the man right by the registers. Sydney police say several shots were fired inside the store, and the man at the center of this call was hit. The incident is now being investigated by Ohio BCI as an officer-involved shooting. No customers, store employees, or officers were hurt.
Their training kicked in and they handled the scene exactly the way I would expect them to do. I'm very proud of every officer.
The 3 years I've been here, I haven't had to even throw anyone out, let alone anything of this magnitude.
Now, the man who was shot was taken to the hospital. However, there's no word on his condition tonight. We're continuing our coverage now of the Amber Alert issued yesterday for 2-month-old twins abducted out of Columbus. Remember, one of those twins, Kyer, was found safe at Dayton International Airport early yesterday, but his brother, Kason, is still missing. A prayer vigil was held in Columbus today for a safe return. Steve Levine takes us there.
We're here at the Linden Community Center, which is a suburb of Columbus, where, as you can see, neighbors and family members are getting ready to have a prayer vigil for 5-month-old Kason, who's been missing now for more than 24 hours. Community members here say they don't even know the family, but they share their pain as parents. They know what it's like to lose a child for just a few minutes, and they are here to show their support, to send a message, to bring home the 5-month-old infant who was kidnapped from his mother's car along with his twin brother Monday night while she was about to get food to make a DoorDash delivery. Police now looking for Nala Jackson, a 24-year-old suspect who they believe took the car and abducted the children, leaving Kyer at an airport yesterday morning. Police asking anyone with information to contact Columbus Police. In Columbus, I'm Steve Levine for Dayton 24/7 Now News.
Steve, thanks so much. And tonight, the Dayton community is also stepping up to help. Melena, I understand that there is a familiar name getting involved now.
Yes, Megan, and we'll hear from him in just a second. As of right now, I am outside of the last known location of Nala Jackson. It is a UDF in Huber Heights. Police have been using this location to try and figure out more information. So the search for Kason is still on. There's so many people involved, from police, community members, as well as his own family, who's been traveling from Columbus to Dayton searching. Greene, the CEO and founder of the Fudge Foundation, is now offering a $10,000 cash reward for the safe return of Kason. He tells me that is all that matters to him right now.
We just hope the baby's safe. We just want to get the baby home. That's my ultimate goal. Anything else I do not care about, but getting that baby back home safe to his mother.
And Melena, is there any idea on what's going to happen next?
Yeah, so Megan, right now there isn't any new information on the location of Nala or Kason, but there was a news conference today earlier where police came on and told us that this is an all-in search. They have the Dayton Division of Police, they have the FBI, as well as the Highway Patrol, all in on this. They also announced that 2 charges have been pressed against Nala Jackson for kidnapping, as well as a BOLO alert that was released for the surrounding 5 states. As you said earlier, we have Michigan, Indiana, Kentucky, West Virginia, as well as Pennsylvania. They did tell us that Montgomery County is still their primary search location. Knowing this information, we urge anyone who knows anything to please contact either the Dayton Police, the Columbus Police, or just dial 911. Megan, back to you.
Melena, thanks so much. And we'll also be sharing everything that we know right now on our website. That's Dayton247now.com. You can find this story right there on our homepage. Well, we are also following more breaking news tonight, this time out of Dayton. Police telling us that 1 person is dead after a shooting that happened just a few hours ago on Clover Street. Officials are still trying to learn a motive. However, they do tell us that they have 1 suspect that they are questioning right now. You can see crews there still on scene, but officers are stressing that there is no threat to the community at this time. We're going to continue to follow this story and bring you any updates that we get here on air as well as online.
Tracking our code red weather alert, I'll let you know about our impacts we're going to see right here in the Miami Valley coming up.
And if you're going to be hitting the roads the next couple of days, you need to be prepared. After the break, what to know in case you get stranded in your car. And if you've been seeing empty store shelves while searching for children's medicines, the Biden administration wants to help. Up next, the action being taken to try and keep those shelves stocked. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
The Aurora Borealis, or the Northern Lights, were out in force last night. These shots were taken in Fairbanks, Alaska. It's a great place to see the sky show, but with temperatures 20 and 30 degrees below zero, you'd want to bundle up. And now that winter is officially here, a look at the position of the Earth at the summer solstice, courtesy of NOAA's GOES 16 satellite. Just 89 days until spring.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on Instagram.
Well, clouds are continuing to build in ahead of our next weather maker, which will be impacting us by tomorrow. We'll start out with rain, and then eventually we're tracking the snow. The biggest story, though, will be those bitterly cold wind chills. Dangerous cold is on its way. You can see some activity right now taking place. Storms just now getting brewing. We already have the Arctic air there, so there are some snow showers through parts of the northern plains into the Midwest. It's not until late into the day tomorrow we're expecting snow right here. So moving through the overnight hours, we'll drop into the lower 30s. Waking up into the morning, we'll see some showers, scattered rain throughout the day, kind of hit and miss rainfall activity. If you need to do grocery shopping tomorrow, for the most part, most of the day on Thursday is looking pretty good. It's not until we head into around 6 p.m. or so. This is 6 p.m. Most of us getting rain, 40s, sharp cutoff between rain to snow. Notice how quickly it transitions, and temperatures are going to fall very quickly by our Thursday night. This is 9 p.m. on Thursday. Everywhere at this point likely seeing snow, some heavier snow at times. Winds won't be really kicking up that much at this point. It's not really going to be until early into our Friday we really start to see the winds pick up. This is 1 a.m. Friday, continuing with snow with temperatures in the single digits. It's going to be sticking very quickly, so be prepared to take on the cold. And then waking up even to some temperatures below zero as we head into our early Friday morning. We're tracking that blowing snow, and again, those bitterly cold wind chills, how cold will feel coming up in just a bit.
Natalie, thanks. And if you're going to be hitting the roads the next couple of days, you need to be prepared. Courtney Wheaton is here now with some life-saving tips in case you get stranded in your car.
Trooper David Jones says he can't remember temperatures predicted to dip this low.
If it's not a priority and it is this bad, you know, the weather, and you're not good in the cold weather, just stay home.
He says if you do venture out and get stuck in your car in these conditions, frostbite is real. Pay attention to your location at all times.
Especially if you're on interstate, know where you're at on the interstate. Some people get involved in watching where they're driving and not knowing the mile marker they're at.
Another tip, make sure there's no snow covering the exhaust. Also, while you're waiting for help, remember to conserve heat and only run the car for about 10 minutes each hour and stay alert.
Encourage you to stay awake, because that's not going to slow your body, your heart rate down real low when you sleep. You know, obviously, we want you to stay awake. If you got extra clothing, we encourage people to have blankets in this kind of weather. Wrap yourself head to toe with these. From time to time, you know, move your arms, legs, kind of keeps that circulation going to the extremities.
Another tip is don't eat unmelted snow. It will lower your body temperature, and always make sure you have a full tank of gas before hitting the road.
And that was Courtney Wheaton reporting tonight. Now, if you drive an electric vehicle, your car will act differently in the extreme cold. A study by AAA found that EVs get 40% less range when temperatures hit below 20 degrees. So you need to be prepared by knowing your car's limits and also planning ahead.
There is a term called preconditioning, and that means starting the vehicle before you head off, starting it actually while it's still plugged in. And you can even actually do that while it's in the garage. Now, we don't recommend that with a gas combustible vehicle.
Now, this will reduce the demand on the car's battery and regulate the cabin temperature. Experts also say it's very important to know where charging stations are located because you're going to have to charge more frequently. Now, again, be sure to stay up to date with us on Dayton247now.com for the very latest information and updates as this storm moves into our area. Well, if you've been struggling to find children's medicines, the White House wants to help. The Biden administration just releasing Tamiflu from the Strategic National Stockpile to states and territories that ask for it. This is all in an effort to increase access to the medication. Tamiflu can be prescribed for anyone 2 years and older and comes as the U.S. struggles with the triple-demic of COVID, flu, and RSV. Pharmacies like CVS and Walgreens are now limiting online and over-the-counter purchases due to shortages. Well, a live look at the White House now, where Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky visited today. He traveled to Congress to ask for more weapons as well and to discuss continued cooperation between the U.S. and his country. Now, this is Zelensky's first known visit outside of Ukraine since Russia invaded back in February. The 300-day mark was reached just yesterday. President Biden has announced an additional $1.85 billion in aid for Ukraine, and that includes the first ever transfer of a Patriot missile defense system, which shoots down missiles and aircraft. So here's part of what President Zelensky had to say.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Of course, thanks my partisan support, thanks Congress, and thanks from our just ordinary people to your ordinary people, Americans. I really appreciate.
The White House and lawmakers are discussing a new aggressor state label for Russia as well. Zelensky thanks the U.S. for all its support. He also gave President Biden a Ukrainian Captain's Combat Award, saying his troops wanted him to have it. Well, Wednesday marked early signing day for college football, and several area student athletes are putting pen to paper on their future plans. In Miamisburg, 2 football players signing to continue their careers at the next level. Jackson McGowan is headed to LSU. He originally had made a verbal commitment to play at Cincinnati, but felt that LSU was going to be a better fit. And Christian Davis signed with Ball State and says staying close to home played a factor in that decision. Both men will be enrolling early and say they're ready for this next chapter.
My new search was just, I want to get playing time and I want to play at the biggest and best stage. So I'm very excited to go to the SEC and play for the LSU Tigers.
It's a real family environment there in Muncie, Indiana, and I'm excited to have all my family there at the games just cheering me on.
McGowan says that he plans to major in mass communications and journalism. I like that. And Davis says he's going to study business administration.
Well, if you're doing any traveling over these next couple of days, I know lots of people are. The best thing to do is, if you're traveling anywhere around the area, is to leave early tomorrow. We will see showers throughout the day, but we're talking around 8 p.m. We're going to see rain quickly transition to snow and that Arctic air slide in. And if you're traveling off to the west, it's even best to leave as early as tonight for us, as we're going to see that system push in pretty quickly. So for Friday, overall, all day, not going to be good for traveling at all. We're talking about icy roads because temperatures will drop so quickly. Blowing snow is a potential as we head into our Friday. And of course, the winds when you're in the car, that's also a dangerous situation too. And staying windy on the day on Saturday as well. So waking up early into our Friday morning, these are wind chills, which are going to be below zero. And in fact, as much as 25, maybe 30 degrees below zero as we head into our Friday afternoon. Again, these are with those wind gusts up to about 45, 50 miles per hour. This will continue into the day on Saturday with some improvement as we head into our Christmas Day.
If you plan to hit the roads in the next couple of days, you need to stay prepared. Still ahead, what to have in your car so you're ready for anything.
And it's now time for your TikTok of the day. Today, let's talk about ice spikes.
Have you ever heard of ice spikes? Not the ones on the bottom of your shoes in winter, but these. They form when water starts to freeze, but it freezes unevenly. They look like this or this. You might see them outside. It's when water freezes, first along the edges. When water freezes, it expands, which pushes any still unfrozen water up to the surface near the middle. As the sides freeze up solid, the unfrozen water is forced upwards, expanding into a tower or spike that eventually freezes up on its own too. So it doesn't happen when it's too cold outside. Otherwise, it would freeze uniformly, actually pretty quickly. Look at this one from my backyard.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Well, if you have to be out on the roads in the next few days, you're going to want to stay prepared. Nathan Edwards shows us a few simple things to keep in your car that'll help keep you safe in an emergency.
If you do have to head out on the road this weekend or Friday, you definitely want to be prepared. The best way to do so is having some of these items in your car. For example, jumper cables, very important. Also, something that's helpful is this little mini mobile air pump. Also, if you get stuck in a spot where you might be there for a little bit, it's good to have some water and some snacks on hand. Also, a blanket to keep yourself warm. Gloves are also very handy. Or you could also have handy dandy hand warmers. And then finally, of course, it is important to have a first aid kit. You never know if you get into a crash and you might not be able to get help to you immediately. This might be the best way to maybe patch up a wound until help can get to you. So, of course, don't drive if you don't have to, but if you do have to head out, it's always best to be prepared.
Well, talking about those snowfall accumulations, want to stress that it really at this point doesn't matter how much snow we're going to get. It's going to make an impact. If we get an inch of snow, roads are going to be slick. And of course, the more snow you add on top of that, the conditions will deteriorate even more. But blowing snow is going to be a concern. Roads are going to be slick very quickly. But here is a look at a snowfall map. 1 to 3 inches of snowfall here in the Dayton area, likely 3 or more inches. There is the potential for more out of this, so we're going to monitor it very closely. With Arctic air, we also have dry air that's going to intrude, so that's going to be something we'll have to monitor very closely. But like I mentioned, the impacts are going to be significant with the wind and the cold, dangerously cold wind chills as we head into Friday, 25, 30 degrees below zero. We have wind chill watches in effect, and that will continue into our early Saturday. Christmas, we do start to see some improvement, back up to 15 degrees. Still a little breezy, wind chill likely still below zero on Christmas Day, but then back into the lower 30s, which will feel much nicer by next Wednesday. But definitely want to take this storm very seriously. If you have any traveling, best to be wherever you need to be before tomorrow evening.
This is one of those times you just want to like hunker down, stay home if you don't have to.
Exactly right.
All right. Thanks so much, Allie. Thanks for being with us. We are headed over right now to Fox 45.